Thank you for downloading this in-ear entertainment podcast. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. Sonnet 15. When I consider everything that grows, holds imperfection, but a little moment, that this huge stage presenteth nought, but shows whereon the stars in secret influence comment. When I perceive that men as plants increase, cheque'd and checked even by the selfsame sky, vaunt in their youthful sap at height decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory, then the conceit of this inconstant stay sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay, to change your day to youth to sullied night, and all in war with time for love of you. As he takes from you, I engraft with you. That was Sonnet-ish number 15. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. I haven't said that in a while. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets, a podcast where we go through all of Shakespeare's sonnets, all 154 of them. So we're 10% of the way through with Sonnet 15. I'm joined by... he's waiting for adjectives.
No adjectives, man.
Thierry Heles. Yeah, just someone. He's in a different country to me. And yeah, he does this with me, Thierry.
Which sounds much further. It's like 50 minutes on the train. I'm not.
Yeah, you're not the.
I'm not sitting in Sydney or Hong Kong or somewhere.
No. But you are technically in a different country, so it was good. We're multicultural in this podcast. We're a good podcast. This poem, sonnet. Sonnet is a type of poem. It doesn't. On first reading, it seems like quite a complex one. I think. That this huge stage presenteth nought, but shows whereon the stars in secret influence comment. When I perceive them as men as plants increase, cheered and checked even by the selfsame sky. I realised that when I read that out to begin with, I got it wrong. But cheered and checked even by the selfsame sky, vaunt in their youthful sap at height decrease. There's a lot of imagery overlapping, it seems, at the beginning, and you have to pick at it quite a lot to pull things out.
It's quite. I mean, I can see myself stumbling over this one quite a bit.
Good, you're too good.
It's. I'm gonna make an effort to stumble a bit more.
Yeah, just to raise my ego would be nice. I have to admit, I'm struggling to pick this one apart myself. The end of it makes sense. The end of it to me is that you're rich in youth. Before my sight, my being Shakespeare's, where wasteful time debateth with decay, and time and decay are both capitalised there. They're in this personified. To change your day of youth, so to change your youthful appearance to sullied night, and all in war with time for love of you. So time is making this happen to you, as he takes from you. I engraft you new. Engraft being a lovely word that isn't used enough, I don't think, anymore. So
I've certainly not seen it used much.
I'm digging out the official meaning from it, which is just to graft onto another plant, to plant firmly. So basically, time is stealing from you, is stealing your day, whereas Shakespeare is what time is taken from him. He's trying to give back by saying, "Have a child," and then time will have to try and steal it from someone else. Does that make sense as a reading?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Good. Now I'll let you.
Okay, that's it. That's Sonnet 15 done.
I'll let you.
We have agreed.
Yeah. Oh, and you can do the beginning half, the complex half. What do you think?
I've got a few notes, and some of the things that I've found is it says that it's a variation on the Horatian theme. That already sounds weird.
Yeah. That
of exegete momentum ae perennius, which means I have built a monument more lasting than bronze, which is one of his odes. I can't remember which one.
Okay.
But basically saying that he's what does it say? It focuses attention on the object commemorated, which sort of explains the first half. It's a very, very strange sort of poem after we've had so many easy ones about death.
Yeah, and nature.
But it goes the whole I engraft in you, and just I perceive that men as plants increase. It's sort of, what's the word? Like an extended metaphor thing going on.
Yeah. So if you take mankind and make them plants, then we are cheered and checked even by the self same sky. So we are encouraged, but also held in place by the same thing. The same thing that encourages us to grow also holds us down, and makes sure we don't outgrow our boundaries, I guess. Does that make sense?
Although again, we do again have the whole death thing going on. Well, he says decay. Obviously, as you mentioned before, to change your day of youth to sullied night. So there's again, your beauty is running out, basically.
Yes, and referring to it as day and night, it makes it quite immediate. It used to be, or in the earlier sonnets, it was winter. Winter's coming, as people say quite a lot because of Game of Thrones. Winter is coming, and that's the end of your life.
I've never watched that show.
There's lots of boobs.
Well, I watched. Well, I say that I watched the first 4 or 5 episodes, and then someone mentioned that Sean Bean is going to die again, and I went, "Oh, it's one of these shows," and I just sort of stopped watching.
It's good. It is good, but there is what I find interesting, because it's an American show. We're going off again, but they have quite graphic sex scenes, I think, and lots of boobs.
But isn't it HBO?
HBO, full frontal nudity, but there are people being hacked to bits by swords and axes, and you don't see blood, because it's that weird thing in America that sex is fine, but violence isn't.
That might be an artistic choice, though, because I mean, True Blood is broadcast on HBO as well, and there's more than enough blood on True Blood.
Okay, I've not seen.
I mean, there's quite a few, but they have a very violent sort of vampire orgy where they just eat and destroy an entire wedding family, and it's very, very gory.
Okay.
So the not showing the blood on what's the name of the show on Game of Thrones might be an artistic choice rather than
maybe they spend
the
all their
saying
budget.
You can't have blood. They spend all the
budget on locations and horses,
realistic
and stuff.
swords and locations, and
then went we can't afford fake blood.
To go nude.
Yeah, exactly, and to have sex with their on-screen brother and stuff like that. It was an odd series. But what I'm saying, in that and in the earlier poems, death is the winter, because that's the thing to be scared of. Summer is great, winter is bad. But in this, it's day and night, so the death is much more immediate. It's just coming. It's only a couple of hours away. And I thought that was quite a nice sort of shift of the immediacy of this. It's gone from months away.
I do remember having a conversation about electricity at the time and how night would have been scary.
Yeah.
Because they only had candles. So I can't remember when that was, but I'm pretty sure we had night before as a sort of thing to be scared of.
Yeah.
Fearful, and yeah.
It would have been a huge mystery to them. You'd hear things and but wouldn't be able to see them, and they had weird things like you couldn't leave your shoes upturned because spirits would come and then walk in your shoes and stuff like that. Weird, and that's where all these things about sprites and because night was such a scary thing, you didn't know what was out there, and only the insane or the incredibly brave wandered out at night, I guess.
Well, did they still also have belief in mares, as in the nightmares who would come and give you bad dreams and suck your soul away?
Yeah, and succubi and incubi.
They still have believed in that in Shakespeare's time?
Yeah, I would have thought so. And succubi and incubi, but them and their equivalents have always been with mankind, and their equivalents today are aliens and alien abductions. That's all that's happened to them. So they're brought on by night terrors and sleep paralysis.
Well, I mean, when exactly was because Galileo lived at the same time than Shakespeare? I'm wondering whether he wrote his his observations down before Shakespeare wrote the sonnets or after?
I don't know.
Galileo was pretty much, they were pretty much still convinced that the sky was attached to this glass bowl and the earth was flat and the center of the universe. And
I don't think anyone really, for a long time, has believed the earth is flat. I think that's a myth. Because, I mean, you only need to go onto a high mountain. So it was a globe,
but they were still...
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of thinking that we were the center of the sun revolved around us and everything revolved around us would have been probably a firmly held belief, or probably maybe not firmly held because that implies everyone ardently thought about it. But I would imagine most people didn't think about it. I'd imagine you furiously googling in the background.
Well, I'm trying to find out because I know Galileo was in front of the Inquisition in 1615. I'm just trying to figure out when Shakespeare wrote the sonnets. This is a bad thing to Google in Sonnet 15, and we still don't know
when they were written.
When he actually wrote the damn things.
We become prepared for the podcast. If anyone wants to join us and inform us about these things, you're perfectly welcome. Just contact us through the contact form on the website, and we will get you on. Let's see. I can.
Well, it would have been before because it says here they're not quite sure when exactly. But they're thinking around 1597, 1599.
Okay.
So it would definitely have been before Galileo was in front of the Inquisition.
So Galileo was...
So the Earth would still have been the centre of the universe.
Yes.
Well, they in the knowledge of the time.
Yeah, if they thought about it at all, I guess. I like the idea that what I see as kind of Greek influences are coming in with the idea that time is a person and decay is a person, or maybe that's just reading into the capitalization in this a bit too much. But
I mean that does usually indicate that they personify an object or a concept if they capitalize it,
and the fact that they're debating or debateth with time, debateth with decay. I love the idea that they're conspiring against the fair youth. These two things that you want to avoid, time and decay, are conspiring against the fair youth, and the only way to win is to engraft himself onto his child, so to speak.
I'm quite surprised that Shakespeare does actually say time, and he doesn't. I say you say the Greek reference that he doesn't actually say chronos.
Or tempos, I guess, would be Roman.
Or tempos, yeah, the Roman one.
Yeah, So I'm guessing he doesn't mean it in the literal sense, the literal God, but I think he means it in...
So literally just as a concept.
Yeah, the concept of this thing having a persona, I guess. Lots of I guesses in this one. But yeah, I have a child, live forever, screw over time and decay. Yeah, very much the theme. I wonder in the last one of Procreation Sonnets, it's just going to be one word that just says, or a couple of words maybe going, "Go on, my son," or something like that. just to round it off at the end. Because I'm going
to take you down to the pub now, and we're going to get you a lady, and you're going to get shagged.
I've secured 3 women for you. You get to choose which one, but you're going to choose one.
Listen to your Uncle Billy. He knows what's best for you.
And he would have said all this in a... I wonder what the accent would have been like at the time. I guess we don't really know what the accent would have been like. I know that the American accent would have been at one point similar to the old British accent, because they kept that accent when they went off to America. So it would have been similar, whereas we've carried on and changed. But
well, wasn't the Mayflower around that time?
You're really testing my history now.
I'm not sure. I think that was 16 something. I'm going to Google that now, and it's going to be some completely wrong. But I have a feeling that was 16 something.
So yeah. So what we should be doing is reading these sonnets in a very bad American accent. Oh,
1620.
1620. Well done, you.
It's at the maiden voyage in 1607.
Yeah.
And then the referred to as the strangers to Plymouth, Massachusetts, 1620.
See, we know history, and when I say we, I mean Thierry.
It was sort of vague knowledge. Wikipedia helped.
No, you're on here.
I got the century right. That was close enough.
You're on here for the brains.
But that was about that was about the same time. Yeah.
You're on here because you're the brains of the operation. And
does that make you the looks? Well, you gave me the looks earlier as well.
Yeah. So. Okay.
What are you doing here, Mark?
I don't know. I'm here to prod you on to read Sonnet 15, and then we can move on.
Oh dear, I'm gonna make an effort to stumble now.
Good. Make up words like I did when I read it.
Like the prognosticate. I'm quite glad that's not in this one. That's a tough one. Oh dear, I'm gonna just. I can do this.
I believe in you. Don't let me down.
Sonnet 15. When I consider everything that grows, holds in perfection but a little moment, that this huge stage presenteth nought but shows whereon the stars in secret influence comment. When I perceive that men as plants increase, cheered and checked even by the selfsame sky, vaunted their youthful sap by tide decrease, and wear their brave state out of memory, then the conceit of this inconstant... That's a good one to stumble on. Then the conceit of this inconstant stay sets you most rich in youth before my sight, where wasteful time debateth with decay, to change your day of youth to sullied night, and all in war with time for love of you, as he takes from you, I engraft you new. There's a lot of S's in that one. That was...
Yes, and in consonants apparently as well. It's good. It's a hard one to read. They're all quite hard to read, but that one seemed one of the harder ones. And that was what, Sonnet 15?
Sonnet 15.
It's 10% of all the sonnets, 154 of them ish. As in, it's 10% ish, not there are 154 ish. That would be weird.
We might add one or two.
Just will you notice which one we add? I've been Mark Chatterley.
I have been Thierry Heles.
We will see you again next time for Sonnet 16.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. You've been listening to Shakespeare Sonnets with Mark Chatterley and Thierry Heles. This has been an In-Ear Entertainment podcast. To listen to other podcasts or find out more about In-Ear Entertainment, go to www.inearentertainment.com.